to be Marcella Lowe from our from our favorite utility.
Oops, knocked it off again.
Sempra.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm just here tonight to give a brief overview of a pipeline project that we're going to be doing on Victoria Avenue, and this is a California Public Utilities mandate that we're following to make sure that all pipelines, major high-pressure pipelines, have either been tested or replaced. And in this case, this is an older pipeline, so we want to make sure that it's in a safe condition. So what we're going to be doing is starting at the end of July, and we have prepared a database of about over 600 letters that we're going to distribute to a 400 radius along Victoria. And then we are also going to put door hangers on these same residents to let them know about the actual start of the construction. We've been working with your staff, and they've been very good to work with. And one of the things that I think that they understood is that this project could have taken anywhere from, say, 4 months to 1 year, depending on the working hours. So they did grant us extended working hours, and so that's going to help us move the project along more quickly. So we do want to apologize to people for any inconvenience, but hopefully, the pain will be more brief instead of extending it to perhaps a year if we had done, say, normal business hours. So let's see. We also been working with Cal State Dominguez Hills and StubHub. They've also been very gracious working with us, letting us know any special events so we can plan around those, any special activities where maybe traffic is going to be a concern. Some of the other things that we're going to be doing, we want to work with the Dominguez Hills Homeowners Association, putting an article in their newsletter. We're going to be working with property management in the Colony Cove Mobile Home Park, 400 units there, and the Carson Harbor Village, 800 units. An apartment complex on Victoria, another 24 units, and then some business establishments. The MLK County Library, Wells Fargo Bank, Carson Christian Center, and then there's a mini mall also with 6 units. So we have a letter that we're distributing. I can give you a sample of the letter if you're interested, and also it's translated in Spanish on the back. The whole project's going to be about 2 miles long. We're going to be starting, as I mentioned, July 28th, and we should be ending October, November. So depending on weather and other types of conditions. So the other thing too is things did fall into place quickly. We were looking at an August start date, so we were able to accelerate it to the end of July, and we didn't have time to put it on the council agenda. So I appreciate you letting me come and just make some comments. Specific question.
I do have a question for you.
Okay.
Could you give us the geographic start
yes.
and stop at that? Where does it start? Like Wilmington Avenue or Central or what?
Yes, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that. We're going to start at Victoria and Broadway. No, I'm sorry. Well, either way, we're kind of coming from both ends.
Victoria and
Broadway, and then also on Central. So between those two.
Between Central and Broadway was where the construction would take place. Now, will the street be torn up?
Yes. We're going to have.
And so you're going to, it looks like you're going to be replacing the pipe?
Yes. What we do, though, is we abandon the pipeline in place.
Oh, and leave it
and
in
then we actually have to come back maybe next year and do the tie-ins where we put that pipe into operation.
Put a new pipe in close by where the old pipe is.
Yeah. So we may not do the tie-ins until next year because we don't want to tie up too much traffic at one point. So we'll come back next year to do those tie-ins.
And why do you not take the old pipe out for at least for scrap?
From my understanding, Thomas, you can correct me if I'm wrong. You might need the pipeline for some other
I see.
Something else.
Okay,
in the
and
future.
then how deep is the pipeline?
That's a good question, Thomas. Can you help me? Sorry.
You have an engineer with you?
My project manager is an engineer, so.
Okay.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Thomas.
I'm Thomas Lee. I'm a project engineer with Jacobs, and I'm working on this project. I only started a couple weeks ago, and for the depth of the pipes, I'm not exactly sure. So I'm gonna assume it's gonna be about 10 feet, maybe a little bit deeper than that.
There's
I'm not exactly sure.
standards that you go to, like water's a certain depth, and then electric. So gas is usually lower.
And this is a high-pressure natural gas
Yes.
pipeline.
16-inch pipeline, but
16.
we're going to replace it with a 20-inch pipeline. And so that way, if there is any like future growth, we can accommodate that as well.
Right. Very good. Well, there will be future growth.
Yes.
Which direction is the gas flowing? East to west or west to east?
Oh,
The test, I'm not exactly sure which direction.
don't know.
Like I said, I only started a couple weeks ago, so I'm not exactly sure which way the gas will be flowing. But the test will go from the Central Avenue towards the west side. So when we test it with pressured water, it'll go from Central Avenue towards Broadway, and to further on.
Okay. Is this a distribution pipeline,
no.
or is it
Transmission.
a transit?
Transmission pipeline
Transmission
means
trans-
the high pressure ones are transmission, and the distribution ones are usually smaller.
Yes.
But this project is actually going to go all the way into Torrance,
I see.
and then it's all part of one pipeline. It actually then takes a turn up Crenshaw, and then so it's really all part of a major project. So the planning is very complicated, and so that's why it's done in little segments in various phases. So we are working on segment 1 and 2 actually starting with Carson.
It sounds like it's a very important pipeline, and you can't be out of commission for
Yes,
for too long.
Right.
It'll affect businesses and
Yes.
and residents.
we have
Okay.
refineries that we service.
That you service. Okay.
Yes.
So with this pipeline, it's coming from Central, huh? Isn't there a north-south pipeline on Central as well, or not?
There
more than
is,
one.
but we won't be working on that one. We're specifically going from South Central Avenue with the intersection of Victoria and South Central, and for segment 1, segment 2, it'll go to Broadway Avenue. So we're not worried about anything else besides.
Those are separate lines,
Yes.
because the one north-south, I think that has the above-ground valve at the northeast corner of Victoria Street and Central Avenue. Does that sound right?
Yes, I think.
You can see it from the intersection because there's an empty lot on the exact corner,
Yeah.
and it's next to the lot where the huge transmission tower is, which is a separate parcel.
Yeah. My project manager hasn't really told me what we're gonna do with that station yet, but I mean, I can go ask and tell you if you'd like.
Yeah, I mean, if that station isn't used any longer or not necessary, it'd be nice for the city of Carson if it was not going to be used, to be removed, because we'd like to develop that corner
Okay. Yeah.
into a very attractive, maybe commercial
Are you saying
corner.
our stuff's unattractive?
Well, it is a gas pipeline sticking out of the ground. But
I'll make sure to bring that up with our PM.
okay, thank you.
Corner of
One question, Mary.
Because if we were to develop that corner, we would want it to be landscaped.
Okay.
Right now, you just have a chain link fence, and
Since we have our franchise agreement, and if you need something moved, I mean, we do take that into consideration.
I see. Okay, terrific. Well, we have Councilwoman Davis Holmes with questions. Please don't go away.
How long did you say the project is? The trenches, they're going to be open for how long? Did I hear you mention
Well,
that?
there's 2 separate segments, and so that one that's closer to, which is the central,
Yeah.
it's about, we're hoping like 4 months, and then the second segment, 3 months.
Oh, so you're talking about 7 months in its entirety?
No,
7 months.
they're going at the same
Oh,
time.
going at the same
Yeah.
time.
So
Okay.
Central Avenue will start July 28th, like she said, and then the second segment will start while the first segment is still working.
I got it.
Yeah.
And we'll close off traffic only around the only around the constructed area. So we'll go 100 feet at a time, and we'll only close off that 100 feet plus a little bit more, only one lane going westbound, so it doesn't congest a lot.
So you're talking about how many months? 4?
4.
Yeah, the construction will be done hopefully by the end, way before the end of this year.
We want to, our goal is to finish before the holidays.
Yes.
Thank you. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Gill.
Okay, very good.
Marcelo.
All right. Are there any other persons present who wish to address the council housing authority? Or yes, sir. Please come forward. And if you choose to fill out a card, you may fill one out and give it to the city clerk after you're finished speaking, if you like. It's up to you.